Sometimes you think she just doesn't want to be happy, right? You're having a good day with her, then all of a sudden you say it. You know you triggered something in her mind. Before she says a word, your heart tightens, you know she's upset, and you're well aware of what comes next. So you ask, what's wrong? She looks at you with utter disdain and says, nothing. You press because you feel uncomfortable. I mean, doesn't she want to resolve things? Then a flood of anger and resentment and frustration comes pouring out when she either won't engage or she says something like, you always, you never, you aren't good enough. So you sit there, take deep breaths, trying to remain calm. If she only knew what you meant. If she only knew how you feel about her, why does she have to get upset so easily? Why can't she just let things go? Doesn't she want to be happy? Every word you say just makes it worse. So you shut up, but still, that doesn't help either. So she storms off and you sit there feeling defeated. Is she always gonna be like this? Is there anything you can even do? Well, today, let's talk about the 3-point strategy you're going to use to completely demolish this problem, to turn those moments of frustration and hopelessness, and honestly, utter anger into opportunities for growth, intimacy, and better understanding with connection. I'm gonna do this by helping you understand the core needs your wife has, not the ones she states. Understanding this will allow you to know why she does everything she does, which will then soften her immediately in conversations with you. The second principle will show you a part of yourself that has been slowly running the show. It is the hidden enemy that has led to so many self-sabotaging behaviors with her. Now, understanding and mastering this principle unlocks new areas of growth and prosperity. Then the final principle is a powerful concept that I personally started using with my partner that has transformed the way we communicate. It has also led her to let go of past mistakes more consistently, and this allows us to focus for a more fulfilling future. Sound good, right? My name is Josh Hudson. I'm a licensed therapist with a decade of experience who found a better way to save marriages than traditional marriage therapy. Helping thousands of men restore their marriages with masculine authenticity is our mission here. So let's jump in. Now, difference and confusion is where conflict occurs. And one of the core differences between you and her is her feminine archetype versus your masculine. Now, I've had whole videos on this channel explaining this, but one of the core indications of the feminine is that feminine receive and men achieve. We are pointed toward a direction, straight and narrow, want to get that goal, right? To feel peace. Right? Challenge, striving, and exaltation. Where a woman in the reception of everything, she wants to experience what's ever happening in the present moment. She tries not to deny what is subconsciously, okay, how she feels, not what she says. And oftentimes what that means is that whenever she's going through drama or problems, she wants to, on a subconscious level, experience that. The feminine is understanding, nurturance, tenderness, kindness, intuitiveness, creativity, feeling, flow, stillness, radiance, surrender, ease, and allowing. Where the masculine is confidence, protection, clarity, inner strength, responsibility, boundaries, focus, courage, logical discipline, support, capable, stability, certain direction. Assertive. So because you want this direction, this goal to achieve, the problems to be solved, every time she brings up issues or every time she's feeling an emotion and you want to work through it with her before she feels the emotion through, like imagine that there's this energy, this flow of water going through her system. It's actually energy going through her system. She wants the whole thing to go through her entire system before it leaves to another emotion. But as soon as that emotion enters the space between you two, and you're trying to solve the problem, it's almost like you're taking the energy out of her, trying to rip it out. And it's invalidating to her. It makes her feel like that you don't get her, that you're trying to solve her problems, that she's not okay to be the way she is. I know your intention is to make her happy, but it's under the surface. You want to feel peace. You are uncomfortable with her negative emotions or her drama, okay? So recognize that it's coming from a selfish place in wanting to solve her problems. Even science backs this up. You can pause the video and read the whole entire thing, but I'm just gonna read one sentence from this excerpt of this study. Therefore, one possible explanation for the relatively lesser prefrontal cortex activity in men than women is that men are able to generate and implement cognitive emotion regulation strategies with less effort or difficulty than women. Now, this is not a better or worse than, right? It's just that men exert more effort to control their emotions. Therefore, even on a neurological level, it is harder for her and she doesn't want to suppress or contain her emotions. In fact, when you are the man that can allow her that space to be freely expressive, she feels safer with you and she opens up to you more. It's summarized in this quote from David Data in The Way of the Superior Man. The feminine always seems chaotic and complicated from the perspective of the masculine. The next time you notice yourself trying to fix your woman so that she will be no longer blank, relax, give her love by touching her and telling her that you love her when she is this way. Embrace her, wrestle with her, or scream and yell for the heck of it, but make no effort to bring an end to that which pisses you off. Practice love instead of trying to bring an end to the quality that bothers you. You can't escape the tussle of the feminine. Learn to find humor in the unending emotional drama the feminine seems to enjoy so much. The love that you magnify may realign her behavior, but the the effort to fix her and your frustration never will. The world and your woman will always present you with unforeseen challenges. You are either living fully, giving your gift in the midst of those challenges, even today, or you are waiting for an imaginary future that will never come. No matter what woman you're with, there is never a time in your life where the world or woman will stop challenging you, because your purpose on this planet is to grow, is to become a better man. And you and your masculine can only grow when challenged. You know this. And so as a man, the men that think that, oh, I just want a woman that is peaceful, they are afraid of challenge, okay? They don't want to grow in that area of their life. Yes, they can grow in their business or other domains, or maybe their health, but the woman will always challenge the man. And there are parts of you that she's showing to you in order to improve on and grow. If you want more practical advice on how to overcome these challenges, or tests as we call them, end of the video, you'll see a video to a comprehensive way to pass her tests with practical steps involved. Now that you understand the inner workings of her and you can operate from that healthy masculine space, you need to become whole yourself, because there are parts of you that you are rejecting within yourself. And so when other people, she's a mirror to you, when she shows those parts, you reject them in her. And your shadow is a part of this aspect. So often I'll read in the Facebook group and I'll comment on these guys' posts, helping them out. And they'll talk to me about their conversations with their wife and how they get so triggered. And I'm not immune to this as well, trust me. There's something about her, right, that just, she knows what those buttons are. It's just something about it. We can get really philosophical here, but I'm not going to in this video. I'm gonna get practical with you guys. So there are aspects of yourself that you deny. And then if you can bring to the surface with her and you can see it for what it is and learn to accept and integrate it, no longer will those aspects of yourself subconsciously control you, which means that you will not get triggered or emotional or reactive and suppress that emotion in others, or that parts in others, okay? Now, if you want me to do a whole deep dive on shadow work on this channel, leave a comment down below and I will, if I see enough comments of it, enough likes. I'm gonna use some self-disclosure, a personal story. So growing up, there was an aspect of my brother who was semi-abusive to me, where he was outgoing and needy and selfish. And so when anyone tries to tell me what to do, I get very triggered myself. And when I see other people trying to get their needs met and that are interdependent, they need me, I reject them, because I have a belief growing up that you should be self-sufficient. You shouldn't need other people. Does that sound familiar to you? So with my partner, when she's expressing her needs and it comes off in criticism or complaint, I immediately reject her. I see her as being, I say like, why do you need me so much? Why can't you do this on your own? Why do you need support from me, right? But in a relationship, it's pretty practical to want support, right? But because I was controlled by my brother, I repressed that desire to go express my needs directly. And that's what my partner has, right? She's able to express her needs directly. But of course I have needs, but I go about it in an indirect way, right? I will try to get praise, or I'll do certain things expecting her to just give me it without even saying it directly. I want her to give me verbal affirmation. I want her to rub my head. I want her to tell me how much she appreciates me without me asking, right? So because of that, every time she's expressing her needs, I get very angry and defensive, and I reject that part of her because I reject it in myself. This is the aspect of a shadow, right? And it's called the shadow. Carl Jung labeled it this way, the psychologist, because most often you cannot see your shadow most times when you're out, right? It is that the light is casting in you, right? The other person. And then there's the component of you that you cannot see that is somewhat directing your life, okay? Now we have lots of shadows in our life. There are lots of aspects of yourself that are repressed in you. And the easiest way to identify your shadow is to see where you are triggered in others. Another small example that I'll give you to prove the point. I remember when I would play soccer, whenever I would see someone else on the other team being very arrogant and cocky, I would hate that person. Visceral, hate. Why are they so cocky? Why can't they be humble? I hated arrogant people. And because I repressed my self-confidence when I was younger, because confidence and arrogance have a fine line to it. I saw myself as being humble, but I was also insecure. So whenever I saw someone else being arrogant or very confident in themselves, I thought they were being narcissistic or cocky, right? So there are many aspects of this. Now, as a process of integration, the first step is identifying, and then the second step is learning to have a conversation with it and then accept it. Now, again, if you want me to do a whole video on this, please let me know. Otherwise, I don't want to waste my time on it because it's a very advanced concept. However, let me read a quote from Carl Jung that really accurately sums up the process of integration. Be silent and listen. Have you recognized your madness? And do you admit it? Have you noticed that all your foundations are completely mired in madness? Do you not want to recognize your madness and welcome it in a friendly manner? You wanted to accept everything, so accept madness too. Let the light of your madness shine, and it'll suddenly dawn on you. Madness is not to be despised and not to be feared, but instead you should give it life. If you want to find paths, you should also not spurn madness. since it makes up such a great part of your nature. Be glad you can recognize it, for you will thus avoid becoming its victim. Madness is a special form of the spirit and clings to all teachings and philosophies, but even more to daily life, since life itself is full of craziness and at the bottom utterly illogical. Man strives towards reason only so that he can make rules for himself. Life itself has no rules. That is its mystery and its unknown law. What you call knowledge is an attempt to impose something comprehensible on life. For this final one, the most common thing I'll get from guys is like, if you got in a call with me, you'd probably think, Josh, like, okay, here's my situation. What do I say? Give me the exact words. And at the end of the day, that is giving you the fish, right? There is a way to teach you how to fish, to come into a situation, have a certain mindset, like a certain frame. You see her, yourself in the relationship where everything autocorrects. Okay. So this is that frame. And I recently came across this before I talked in videos about how you have to have a stronger frame than her. And I think in a lot of ways you do, but there is a way where you guys have a joint frame together. Okay. Instead of being combative, it's you versus her. It is you two versus the problem. It is the collaborative frame. Okay. Now, when you are in the competitive frame, what happens is that when you speak to her, you're using a lot of you language. You are getting defensive. You are more stifled and in your head. You are thinking, how do I get my needs met? What do I do to say right to her to get her to calm down so I can selfishly get what I want? And she does the same. And rarely ever, if ever, is there any resolution around that. Okay. Marshall Rosenberg, who wrote the book Nonviolent Communication, he always says that there must be connection for education. And he says that if there is an emotional connection, then the solutions will just arrive. The problem will solve itself. And so having this collaborative frame, this us mentality, you speak in a collaborative frame, which means you say like, how do we figure out this together, right? And instead of subconsciously thinking, all right, I'm going to battle her, I'm against her, she's the problem, I'm the problem to her. It's almost like you are putting your arm around her emotion and you're saying, look at this problem right here. And I suggest you even do that. The next time you're arguing with her, sit next to her and put your hand out and say like, this is the problem. It's an NLP technique, neuro-linguistic programming, and it's separating the problem from you, even if it's your behavior. And going a little bit esoteric here, I actually learned in graduate school, there's something called narrative therapy. And there's a process in narrative therapy called externalization, where it takes the idea that these problems are outside of who you are, okay? And as crazy as it may sound, just humor me a little bit. I want you to imagine that fear and jealousy and anger, they are all these individual monsters, viruses, if you will, and they feed off each other people, to try to get other people to feel the same emotion, to spread itself. Even Dr. Peterson talks about this, like how emotions are gods. And maybe it's not true, right? But who knows, right? But the thing is, I want to use what's practical here. And if you start to believe that this virus, this monster, this demon, this sin, this devil wants separation from you two, it wants to push each other apart. It wants more anger in this world. When you can take that perspective with her, it allows you to calm down, open up, be more collaborative, lean in, right? Not be so self-focused, which I would argue, if you haven't understood at this point, whenever you are struggling to connect with her or work through issues, you are focusing on what you want instead of what she wants, okay? So having the collaborative approach, it automatically helps you find out what to say, how to show up with her. And you don't have to focus on the words so much, because what naturally comes out is correct because it's coming from the right place. If you've been going back and forth in your marriage and things kind of get better, then they get worse, you're watching some of the videos and it's still helping, like, you can still watch these videos and I hope they do help you. But if you want expediency and immediacy and things that just cripple in the speed at which you win your wife back because of the accountability and the coaching you're getting and the community supporting you along the way. I mean, imagine coming into a group, you post something that you're struggling with, you get me, expert coaches, and a whole community of men saying exactly what you should do in that moment. How quick you learn, that flywheel of learning becomes exponentially faster. That is what the program can offer you. However, I only want you to sign up if you are fully ready in motion to invest, you are taking responsibility for your side of things, and you are a man that wants to improve himself, that wants to do this for his kids, for his wife, but especially for yourself. If that is you, set up a call down below. Here's the video on test somewhere right here, and I'll see you in the next one.